there, this is Kelsey. This week I'd like to talk about the pros and cons of advertising on the radio, coming from the perspective of a business looking to possibly purchase a time slot on the radio. So first of all, the biggest pro to radio is that it's one of the most omnipresent media. It's everywhere. It's in your home, it's in your car on the way to work, it plays at work in a lot of places, it plays in stores. So everywhere you go, you're exposed to the radio. And in fact, according to Decima Research, a study done by them, 94% of Canadians listen to the radio, and 40% of our time spent on media is spent on radio. This seems like a high number, but that's just because a lot of that time isn't really just spent on the radio, When you think about it, you spend 8 hours of your day at work, and if the radio's on at work, that's 8 hours right there. But that's not really 8 hours spent listening to radio. You're distracted that whole time, or at least you should be theoretically doing work and not listening to the radio. If you're in the car, you should be paying attention to the road, not the radio. So that's kind of the double-edged sword. First of all, that the radio is omnipresent, but we're very distracted and not really paying attention to the radio. Which means that if you're going to purchase on the radio, you should be purchasing many time slots to have a bigger chance to have your advertisement heard. But radio time slots are a lot cheaper than on TV, so that's very attainable to buy multiple time slots. Also, according to Numeris, which is a Canadian audience measurement organization, most Canadians will regularly watch between 4 and 5 TV channels, but they're only loyal to about 2 radio stations. Now, this could be because there's just less choice when it comes to radio, especially in small rural areas, which brings me to my next point, that radio is really good for local advertising. And that if you're a small business in a small town, you don't have a lot of money to spend on advertising, so you're better off to purchase some advertising slots on radio than the really expensive ones on TV, because radio is a lot better for local advertising. So if you're just trying to pull in your local rural area, you're a lot better to go with the local radio station. So the biggest obstacles facing radio advertisement are, like I said before, the fact that it's competing with all the distractions in the environment, and that while you may have the radio on, you're likely not sitting down and giving it your full attention. You're likely doing something else. And also the fact that the lack of images on radio makes it a lot harder to evoke strong emotions like TV can. For example, if you think of the Budweiser commercials with the Budweiser puppy, and those commercials have really, really strong emotions because of the images they have, and it's something that wouldn't work as well on radio if you tried to make the same concept work on radio with no images. But in conclusion, I think that despite the obstacles, advertising on radio is still a really good idea because it's a lot cheaper than TV, and you can purchase a lot more time slots for the same amount of money. And it's especially good for businesses looking to advertise locally. And that's it. Thanks.